Thank you. What a difference a year can make in a person's life. That was me about this time last year. 400 pounds, kind of a broken man, and not really proud of the fact that I kind of got my daughter there. I mean, I'm the leader of the family, and so dads kind of set examples, and that's not a great example. Jennifer and I got an opportunity to be one of 250,000 people to get on that show. Every season, over 250,000 people audition, and we got on that show. And I believe there's reasons why things happen. I was tickled to get on. It helped me change my life. It's had a lot of things that happened since then. But I've come to learn that there's something that I have a message to share today that I experienced actually before I got on the show. It helped me get on the show. It helped me during the show. And it's helped me every day after the show. And it's not about calories. It's not about exercise. But I'll tell you a little bit about some of it. This is the picture that everybody wants to see. This is our after picture. This is a picture that basically, it represents what we accomplished on the show. And it was exciting. Jennifer lost 114 pounds. I lost 181 pounds. I lost the absolute most pounds on the show. I wasn't the biggest loser, but I was the last man standing, which was very improbable. We had an Olympic gold medalist on the show. We had young men on the show. And I always said I wasn't the youngest, the fastest, the fittest. But somehow I hung in there, and I think there's a reason for that. And when people meet Jennifer and I, they always want to know, what was the secret? Was it Jillian? Was it Bob? Was it what you ate? How many calories? How did you exercise? What did you do? There must be a secret. How can you lose that much weight? And really, my son said it best, Matthew. He said, Dad, it's really like a fast pass. And the reason it's a fast pass is because we lived and breathed losing weight and exercising, eating healthy every single day. It was our job. That's all we did. We didn't have a cell phone. We didn't have any outside world influence. And people would come up to Jennifer and I at times and they'd say, you know, you are inspiring. You've lost so much weight. And I'd say, if you came there and did the same thing we did, I can guarantee you would do the same exact thing. But there's one other thing that people don't really think about, and I didn't really realize why people really lose weight on that show. There is a secret to it. And every person in this room probably isn't aware of it, but I've come to understand what it is. Because, see, what you need to know is before I got on the show, when you saw that man was 400 pounds, my top weight at one time was 435. You don't get to be 435 pounds just because you eat too much. It's kind of because you're not really being honest with yourself. It's the kind of thing where you say, I've tried everything. I go to the gym. I've had a gym membership for years. I would go there. I'd attend going to the gym. But I really wasn't being honest with myself. What happens is when you stand in front of 15 million people every single week and you know that the world's going to see you, you do good things. And you're honest with yourself. And you don't make up excuses because people see it. And so one of the things I learned from the show was honesty is the root of so many things when it comes to weight loss, because every plan works, every exercise works. There are tons and tons of ways. There's tons of great trainers. There's tons of solutions. I love Bob and Jillian. They changed my life. They rewired my brain. I am so thankful for being on that show. But before I got on the show, I had a little taste of something that I had realized that maybe was going to be the thing that was going to change my life forever, even before the show. And it was rooted in honesty. But before I tell you about that, there's 3 things that every one of us has to have. We have to have water. I try to get up some research on it. Sometimes people say it's 7 days. Sometimes people say it's 14 days. So you can live without food, but you cannot live without water. And depending on the conditions, if you don't have enough water, you're going to drop dead sooner or later. If you got water, you can live without food a long time. And if you were as big as I was, you can live without food for a very long time, as long as you had water. But there's one thing that I came to discover before the show that I couldn't live without, although I had to live with it while I was on the show. And I know after the show, I can't live without it. And what that is my smartphone. Okay? This smartphone actually changed my life before the show. And most people don't know about it because when they interview you for the show, they ask you all kinds of things about your background. And before I got on the show, I had this little personal blog called Smartphone Diet. And I used it to start to share what I was eating with my friends and family. Because, see, I'm a secret eater. I'm a recovering secret eater. People that are secret eaters are people like me. They're friendly, they're nice, they're jolly. We go out to dinner. We eat very politely. We eat the right kind of portions. And nobody ever says it, but they're like, he doesn't eat that much. But when I got in the car, I had a buffet. If I was at Krauser's, I was at 7-Eleven, whatever, it's like I would go out and I would binge in secret. I would lie to myself, and I would eat healthy at certain times, but I had certain times that I couldn't trust myself. I'm like, I don't want to get on that show. I don't want to go up there and take my clothes off and look horrible in front of people. And she said, but Dad, please. So I went on the show with Jen, and we went there, and it helped change our life. And that's really when I came back, I realized that if I was going to have that happen and stay there, I was going to have to keep using the same thing that helped me before the show, helped me to be able to after the show. And one other story most people don't know is I'm the only contestant that got back on the show because I got eliminated week 7 because of gameplay. I got back on the show because I used my smartphone when I was at home. When I was exercising, I was taking pictures of everything I ate. When I was at the gym, I was letting people know what I was doing. I was taking videos. I was sending these things to producers. And the producers were like, this guy's freaking crazy. And they asked Dr. Hogan, who's a psychiatrist, he said, is this guy manic? And he goes, no, he's just passionate. But that passion is what got me back on that show. So here's what I learned with Smartphone Fit. People want to kind of know, like, well, how do you do this? I mean, basically every day we start at 0. It doesn't matter what you weigh. Every day you start at 0. Every meal you start at 0. Every bite you start at 0. And you have a few choices. What I found was as I started taking pictures of what I was eating, it really helped me a lot. But really what helped me was every single week. Jennifer and I are still to this day the only 2 people from The Biggest Loser that we post our weight every Tuesday. We showed people, 15 million people, when we were on the show, what we were weighing. We show people every single week what we're doing, and I will do it the rest of my life because it just helps me. It helps me be honest in everything I do, from what I eat to how I exercise to how I'm really reaching a new whole level of personal potential. So every week I weigh in, and Jennifer weighs in. I take pictures of everything. If you saw me at lunch today, I was taking pictures of what I was eating. I don't do it all the time. It's not about perfection, but I do it a lot because it makes me know what I'm doing. Sometimes it's about what I'm eating. Sometimes it's like, hey, I saw this, I'm not eating it. I'm at Starbucks, I love Starbucks. I'll take pictures of things that I used to eat all the time and say, hey guys, by the way, I'm not eating this. It's crazy the amount of information I get from people back and forth that are all excited and they start doing it. It's like, hey, I'm doing that too, and it's helping me be more conscious. It's all about being conscious of what you're doing. This is the big thing that helps me. One day, someday, somehow, I'm going to be running the New York City Marathon. I've trained a lot, I've done a lot of things, but this was a day that I wanted everybody to know that I was going to run the marathon. I trained for a half marathon here. I had my book of Jillian up here just to know that she's going to beat me up mentally if I was going to be running. And when you do this and you share this with people, what ends up happening is people really get excited because they start texting you and saying, hey, you can do it, you can move, you can push. From there, a lot of times I'll use apps. There's 10,000 plus health and fitness apps that are out there that can help you. But if you don't touch them, if you just use your smartphone to take pictures of food, share with people what you're doing, how you're exercising, it'll help you a lot. My family together from the show, Jennifer and I did it on the show, my son and my wife did it off the show. We're a Smartphone Fit family because collectively we let each other know what's doing. We make ourselves accountable. We share with friends. We started this whole wave of people that are realizing what the power of that is and what it can be. I told you someday I want to be able to run the New York City Marathon. And as it turns out, I'm running it tomorrow. And the coolest thing is, if you take your smartphone, download the free app, you can track Jennifer, you can track Matthew, and you can track myself. This keeps us honest. I use it to help other people that say they can't change their lives. This thing is with you guys 24/7, and if you play with it and have fun with it, it will change your life. Enjoy.